Good evening, perspective from my porch, the Steps for Success program. I'm Javier Franco. Tonight, I'm going to review the steps for anger management. I have 6 steps. I know that the other day I talked about a review. I went through 5 of the steps. I didn't go to the 6th step, which is a very simple step. But today I'm going to review everything that we've talked about. Next week I am going to start a thing about dealing with stress, especially during the holidays, especially working with people with COVID, uh, and lots of things that are going on right now. Let's review. The first step to anger management is identifying what gets you angry. What gets you angry? Today I had an episode. Somebody was working on my truck and I hadn't realized what they hadn't done. So when I opened up the hood, I saw what the problem was, and I immediately felt my chest. Uh, I was mad. I could feel my jaw clench. Well, that part was my anger. I went inside, I talked about it, and then I just kind of relaxed, kind of thought about the issue, rethought the issue, and thought, okay, there's nothing I can do at this point except deal with it. So I learned to deal with it and I learned to work on it. So identify what gets you angry. There's a lot of things that gets us angry. What is your anger issue? The second step is walk away from that situation. Once again, I walked away from the situation and I didn't deal with it at that point. In my mind, I was dealing with it, and later on, I did deal with it, and I did talk to somebody about it. But I still had to use my identification skills of what causes me to get angry. The third step is to calm down. I'm waving at my neighbor. The third step is to calm down. The calming down skills is very important. What do you do to calm down? Do you read? I know somebody who writes. I write a lot. Not about the things that get me angry, but I write about the thoughts that are going through my thought pattern at that time. Some people walk, some people read, some people sing, some people listen to music. What is it that you do to calm down? That's a very important thing to do, is learning to calm down. Uh, Identify what's going on. Let's go back to identifying. What is it that keeps you getting angry? It's the same thing over and over. I guarantee you that whenever you're getting angry, it's the same thing over and over and over. There's something going on that brings you back to the initial reason that you get angry. Now, we walk away, but we come back bringing in the past. We walk away and return back to the argument. Now, that's going to be part of your anger issues. We have to learn to walk away, come back, and talk calmly about it. That's when we walk away. We come back calmly and discuss it without yelling, without anger, and discuss it in a cool, calm, and collective way. Identify the problem. I described it as walking out your door and falling into a hole in front of your door. Well, the next day you get up and you walk out the same door and you walk into the same hole. 2 days later, you do the same thing. The problem is that there's a hole in front of your house. Now, what do? We fix it or we avoid it. Now, in this situation with anger, we're going to have to fix the problem. Fixing the problem means that we identify the problem, we work on the problem, we find a solution of how not to get caught in the same cycle over and over. So that's a very important part. I've already talked a little bit about it. Don't bring up the past. Don't bring up what's going on in the past. Don't bring up what has happened. Well, 2 weeks ago or 3 years ago, you did. It doesn't matter anymore because we cannot go back in time and fix that problem. The problem is now, so we have to work on the problem today. Not yesterday's, not 2 days ago, not 2 years ago. The problem is now. We have to resolve that problem. We have to break that chain. We have to break that problem from the past. The last step is practice. Practice in your mind. What will happen if I run into this problem again? How am I going to react? And practice in your head. This is what I'm going to do. I practice if I will get mad. What happens if I get angry? What am I going to say? But I also go to the other side and say, what if this happens again? How am I going to react in a positive manner so I don't get caught walking into the same pattern over and over? So practice, practice, practice. That's important. So that way when you encounter the same issue, you can address it in the way you practiced it. I learned that from an old football coach, Coach Todd, Coach Aubrey Todd, one of the best coaches I've ever dealt with, probably one of the best coaches in my opinion. Uh, he said, imagine you standing in front of your opponent and imagine what you're going to do to that opponent. If you put it in your mind, you can start doing it. And it worked. He was a very successful coach. And to this day, I still use those skills of, if it's in my mind, I'm going to practice it. I'm going to practice my speech. I'm going to practice the way I deal with these people. I'm going to practice when it comes to me. So the steps, the 6 steps is identify, walk away, calm down, identify the solution of how to deal with that anger. Don't bring up the past, but most importantly, practice, practice, practice in dealing with the situation. Thank you. Once again, contact me on my email, Steps for Success 2021, at yahoo.com. If you have questions, contact me, email me, text message me, send a message on this page. Next week we'll be talking about stress once again. Thank you. Love yourself more than anybody else. Thank you and have a great night.